How did one quiet delivery in a courthouse lobby turn me from the victim into the woman with no access to the house, the money, or the story? Why did my husband stay calm while I laughed at him, then use one recording to end everything in public? I still tell myself he set me up, but the papers had my name on them. My name is Seraphita Bennett, and I used to think my life was too small for the kind of love I wanted. I was 34. I had a normal job in customer success, and I did the same things every day. Calls, tickets, smiles, polite emails. At home, I had a husband who liked plans and rules. Evan was 36, and he worked for the city as a building inspector. He always acted like safety was the whole world. I told myself that meant he did not understand people. That morning started like many mornings. I stood in our kitchen and scrolled my phone while the kettle heated. Evan moved around me in quiet lines. He put bread in the toaster. He checked the clock. He wiped a small spill with a paper towel like it was a crime scene. He asked why I was on my phone so early. I said I had a work issue. He asked why I looked tense. I said he was the one making me tense. He looked at me for a long time, like he was trying to match my face with my words. He asked if everything was okay between us. I said it was okay, and he was being dramatic. I told him my job was stressful, and he should not add to it. I said he should be proud that I cared about work. I knew it was a clean excuse, and I liked clean excuses. They made me feel like the responsible one. Our daughter Mia walked in with her hair messy and her socks half on. She rubbed her eyes and leaned into Evan's side. He asked if she slept well. She nodded. I kissed her head and told her to hurry because we were late. Evan asked why I always rushed in the morning. I said he talked too much. I said if he moved faster, we would not rush. He took a breath like he wanted to argue, then he stopped. That annoyed me more than an argument. While he packed Mia's lunch, I went to grab a pen from his small desk area near the kitchen. It was his little home office. Really just a corner. I saw a neat stack of folders. One folder had a label that said Utilities, another said Household. I smirked without thinking. In my mind, Evan loved papers more than people. I told myself that was proof he was cold. I told myself my feelings did not matter to him, only Liz did. Evan caught me looking. He asked what I was doing. I said I was looking for a pen. He asked why I sounded sharp. I said he always accused me of something. Mia watched us, and I felt a small heat in my chest. I did not like being watched. I wanted to look like the good one. After the school drop-off, I drove to my office. The building was glass and grey, and the open-plan floor was full of soft keyboard sounds and fake laughs. I liked my desk because it faced the window. It made me feel like I was going somewhere, even when I stayed in one chair all day. Cassidy Holt slid into the chair next to mine with her coffee and her bright smile. She always looked like she was already having fun. She asked how married life was. I said it was fine, but Evan had been moody. She asked what moody meant. I said he was controlling lately. I said he asked too many questions. I said he acted like I needed permission to breathe. Cassidy leaned closer and asked if he checked my phone. I said he did not check it, but he wanted to. I made it sound worse than it was because it got a reaction. Cassidy raised her brows and said that sounded toxic. I nodded and acted tired. I told her I felt alone, even when I was in the same room as him. I said I did everything for the family and nobody noticed. That was not fully true. Evan noticed a lot. He noticed my moods, my late nights, my short answers. He noticed too much. I hated that. It made it harder to pretend. A message popped up on my screen, and my stomach lifted before my brain did. The name was Logan Pierce. I had saved it as something boring, like a vendor contact, but I knew the number by memory now. He sent a short line about the photos he promised to send me for a project. I told Cassidy it was a work thing when she glanced at my screen. She asked why I smiled. I said I had finally gotten a difficult client to agree to a meeting. I liked Logan because he looked at me like I was the answer to a question he had waited to ask. He did real estate photography, so he always talked about light and angles. When he looked at me, he used the same careful attention. It made me feel chosen. I told myself I deserved to feel chosen. By midday, I had a headache from pretending. My manager walked by and asked if I could stay late for a call. I said yes right away. I did not even check my calendar. I liked having a reason to be away from home. I told myself I was building a better future. I told myself Evan should be grateful. When Evan texted and asked what time I would be home, I waited before replying. I wanted him to sit with uncertainty. Then I wrote that I had to work late. He wrote that he understood, but he asked if we could talk later. I wrote back that I was too tired for another talk. I added a small face emoji to make it look soft. I knew that trick. If I looked gentle, he looked harsh. After work, I stopped at the supermarket. I did not need much, but I liked walking under bright lights and feeling anonymous. I picked up fruit, pasta, and a small bottle of sparkling water. At the checkout line, I saw Evan's name on my phone. He called instead of texting. I did not answer right away. I wanted the cashier to see I was busy and important. I answered and asked what he needed. He asked if I could grab Mia's favorite yogurt. I said yes, but I sounded annoyed on purpose. He asked why I sounded upset. I said I was exhausted, and he did not understand pressure. He asked if I could be kind for 1 minute. I said I was kind all day to everyone, and at home, I should be allowed to be honest. At the register, Evan sent another message about budgeting. He reminded me we had bills coming up. I rolled my eyes and showed the screen to the cashier like it was a joke. I said my husband treated life like a spreadsheet. The cashier gave a small laugh, the polite kind. I felt powerful anyway. I felt like I had an audience. When I got home, Evan was in the kitchen again, rinsing dishes. Mia was at the table drawing. Evan asked how my day was. I said it was long. He asked if I bought the yogurt. I said yes. He thanked me, and his voice was calm. That calm made me feel like I was not winning. I set the bags down and noticed the same folders on the desk corner. Utilities, household, bank. I told myself he was preparing to lecture me again. I told myself he cared more about numbers than my happiness. Evan asked if we could talk after Mia went to bed. I said there was nothing to talk about. He asked if I was sure. I said he was trying to control me with serious talks. Mia looked up and asked if we were mad. Evan said we were not mad, we were just tired. I nodded and forced a smile. Inside, I felt a sharp pride, like I had made Evan the problem without even trying. Later that night, when Evan went to take out the trash, my phone buzzed again. Logan's message preview appeared at the top of my screen. He asked if he could stop by sometime soon, just for a minute, because he would be in my area. My fingers hovered over the reply, and I told myself it was harmless. I told myself it would prove Evan could not make rules for me. I typed back that we could talk about it, and my heart beat fast like I had finally done something for myself. I woke up the next day with a strange kind of energy. It was not happiness. It was more like I had a secret, and it made me taller. Evan moved around the bedroom in his quiet way. He folded a shirt, checked his phone, and set his keys in the same place. He asked if I slept well. I said yes. He asked why I smiled. I said I was thinking about work. At breakfast, he tried again. He asked if something was going on with me. I said he always looked for problems. He said he only wanted peace. I said peace was not the same as control. He asked what I meant. I said he made the house feel like a checklist. He said he liked order because it helped the family. I said he liked order because it helped him feel powerful. He did not raise his voice. He never did. That made it harder to prove my point. I needed him to look bad. I needed him to be the villain in the story I was telling everyone, including myself. At work, Cassidy noticed me right away. She asked why I looked awake today. I said I had finally decided to choose myself. She asked if Evan did something. I said he kept acting like my phone was a crime. I said he questioned me like an investigator. Cassidy said that sounded scary. I nodded, and I let that word sit between us like truth. During lunch, Cassidy and two other co-workers, Nina and Joel, sat with me in the break area. They asked about my weekend. I said Evan wanted to stay home and do boring family stuff, but I wanted to go out. Nina asked if Evan ever let me have fun. I said he did not like my friends. Joel asked if that was true. I said Evan thought my friends were a bad influence, but really he just hated seeing me happy. I made sure to speak softly, like I was careful and wise. I watched their faces. Sympathy is a kind of power. It made me feel safe. My phone buzzed again. Logan sent a short message that said he would be downtown later and asked if I was free for a quick drink. I stared at the words and told myself it was normal. People have friends. People have networks. Evan had his brother and his mother. Why could I not have someone too? Cassidy saw my pause and asked who it was. I said it was a contact for a side project, a photographer. Cassidy asked if he was cute. I said it did not matter. Then I laughed like it was a joke, which made her lean in more. She asked if I wanted to go out that night with the group. I said yes fast. I said I needed it. When I got home, Evan was already there. Mia was in the living room watching a cartoon. Evan asked what time I would be home tonight. I said I had plans with co-workers. He asked if he could come too. I said no, because it was work people. He asked why he could not meet my friends. I said he always judged them. He asked if this was about our talk last night. I said there was no talk. I said he imagined tension and then acted hurt. He said he felt distance from me. I said he caused it by being suspicious. He asked what I wanted from him. I said I wanted him to stop watching me like I was guilty. He looked down at the counter, and I saw his mug on one side and mine on the other. It felt like a quiet message. I told myself it was a childish move. I told myself I was not the one creating distance. I was only responding. That evening, I dressed with more care than normal. Not for Evan. I told myself it was for me. I put on earrings I had not worn in years. Evan noticed and asked why I looked so dressed up. I said it was a special work thing. He asked what kind of work thing had a rooftop bar. I said he stalked my life too much. He offered to drive me. I said no. I said I wanted to feel independent. He asked if I was safe. I said he was acting like my father. He nodded and stopped talking. That silence felt like a door closing, and it made me want to push harder. The rooftop bar was loud and bright. Music pressed into the air, and people held drinks like props. Cassidy hugged me and said I looked amazing. Nina took pictures. Someone asked where Evan was. I said he preferred to stay home because he could not handle fun. I laughed, and others laughed with me. It felt like relief. It felt like I had permission. Cassidy posted a photo fast. She tagged me and wrote something about freedom. I reposted it and added a line about choosing myself. I knew Evan might see it. Part of me wanted him to. I wanted him to feel small. I wanted him to learn that he could not keep me in a box. Logan arrived about 20 minutes later. He acted casual like it was an accident, but his eyes found me right away. He said he was in the area and just wanted to say hello. I said it was fine and he could join for one drink. Cassidy's smile turned sharp with interest. She asked who he was. I said he was a photographer I knew through work. Logan stood close, too close. I let him. Cassidy watched Evan's empty space like it was a stage, and she seemed pleased that someone else was in it. Nina asked if Logan was my coworker. I said not exactly. Joel looked uncomfortable and asked if Evan knew. I said Evan did not need to know every detail of my social life. Logan asked if I wanted to step outside for air. I said yes. We moved to a quieter corner near the stairwell. He asked if I was okay at home. I said my husband had become obsessed with control. He asked if I felt trapped. I said sometimes. He said I deserved someone who trusted me. I did not correct him. I did not say I was the one breaking trust. I let him build the story I wanted to live in. When I left the bar later, Logan offered to walk me to my car. I said yes. The parking garage smelled like concrete and old dust. Our footsteps echoed. Logan asked if he could see me again soon. I said maybe. He asked if he could come by my place sometime. I hesitated, then I said it could happen. He smiled like he won something. I drove home with the radio off. My heart felt hot, then cold, then hot again. I told myself it was excitement. I told myself it meant I was alive. When I walked into the house, it was quiet. Evan had put Mia to bed. The hallway light was on. Evan stood near the living room, not sitting, not relaxing. He asked if I had fun. I said yes. He asked who drove me home. I said I drove myself. He asked why my phone location showed me near the garage downtown for a while. I froze. Then I said he must be mistaken. I said apps glitch. I said he needed to stop tracking me. He said he was not tracking me. He only saw a shared location we both agreed to for safety. I said I never agreed to be watched. He asked why my voice was shaking. I said I was shaking because he was accusing me. He asked if a man was with me. I said he was imagining things again. As we stood there, I heard a soft beep from somewhere near the TV stand. It was quick, like a device waking up or sinking. I looked around, but I did not see anything obvious. Evan did not react. He asked if we could talk calmly. I said there was nothing to talk about if he kept accusing me. He stepped back a little, like he was done pushing. He said he was tired, and he would sleep on the guest bed for the night. I said he was doing it to punish me. He said he just needed rest. I watched him walk away, and I told myself his silence was proof he knew he was wrong. In the bedroom, I checked my phone. Logan had sent a message that said he liked seeing me and asked if I was free later in the week. I stared at the screen and felt my mouth lift in a smile I did not want to name. I told myself it was harmless. I told myself I was finally choosing happiness. I wrote back that we could talk soon, and then I put the phone face down like that made me innocent. I told myself the next step was simple. If Logan could walk into my home like it was normal, then Evan could stop acting like he owned my time. That was how I framed it in my head. I called it confidence. I called it taking space. I did not call it betrayal. Logan and I started messaging more in the daytime. He asked how my morning was. I said it was busy. He asked if I felt better after going out. I said yes. He asked if I ever smiled at home. I said my husband made smiling hard. I typed that last part with one strong tap, like it was a truth I had earned. Evan stayed quiet after the rooftop night. He still made Mia's lunch. He still packed her backpack. He still asked if I needed gas in my car. But he did not chase me with questions the same way. That should have felt peaceful. Instead, it felt like he was stepping away from a game I wanted to win. On Wednesday, I brought up my side project again. Evan was in the kitchen rinsing a cup. I told him I might have a photographer help me take some pictures for a profile and some listings. He asked why I needed a photographer for that. I said it was normal, and he did not understand professional branding. He asked why the photographer needed to come to our home. I said I wanted real-life pictures, and our home was my real life. He asked if it was the same man from the rooftop bar. I said he was being obsessive. I said Evan kept making stories because he liked feeling like the victim. He asked if I could at least tell him the name. I said his need for details was not healthy. He looked like he wanted to say more. Then he turned the water off and dried his hands slowly. That afternoon, I texted Logan and told him he could come by on Friday. I picked a time when Mia would be at an after-school activity. I told myself that made it responsible. I did not say why it really mattered. Evan would be home because he worked earlier on Fridays. Part of me wanted that. I wanted to prove I could do it in front of him, and he still could not stop me. Friday came with a cold wind and a bright sky. At the office, I barely focused. Cassidy asked why I kept checking my phone. I said I had a client issue. She asked if it was the photographer. I said she was nosy. Then I smiled, because I wanted her to keep guessing. It made me feel important. When I got home, Evan was already there. He was in the living room, sitting but not relaxed. He had his laptop open on the coffee table. It was angled away from me. I noticed a small charging cable near the side of the TV stand, but I did not think much about it. Evan asked how my day was. I said it was long. He asked what time the photographer was coming. I said soon. He asked if I could wait for another day. I said no. He asked why I sounded angry. I said I was tired of his negativity. He said he was not trying to be negative. He was trying to protect our home. I said he acted like the home was his, not ours. Mia walked through the room with her shoes on the wrong feet, and Evan knelt to fix them. He asked her about school. She said it was fine. She glanced at me and asked if someone was coming over. I said yes, a work person. She asked if it was a friend. I said sort of. Logan arrived right on time. I watched from the window and felt my heart speed up. Evan opened the door because he was closer. Logan smiled wide and acted relaxed. He introduced himself with a firm voice. Evan nodded and stepped back. I walked forward and acted like this was normal. I asked Logan if he wanted water. He said yes. Evan watched us like he was measuring distance. I guided Logan into the living room. I told him where the light was best. I told him which wall looked clean. He looked around like he was learning my life. Evan stayed by the hallway, close enough to hear, far enough to pretend he was not listening. I kept my tone light. I asked Logan about his latest photo work. He explained a shoot he did for a new condo listing. I laughed at parts that were not very funny because I wanted Evan to hear me laugh. Logan started taking pictures of me near the window. He asked me to turn slightly. He asked me to lift my chin. He asked me to relax my shoulders. Evan's face stayed still, but his eyes looked tired. I told myself he was jealous. I told myself jealousy meant I had value. Logan made small comments about our home. He said it felt warm. He said it looked like a place where a person could start fresh. I did not answer that part, but I let the idea sit there. Evan asked what start fresh meant. Logan said he only meant the light and the colors. I jumped in fast and said Evan always heard threats where there were none. Evan asked why Logan had to be here instead of a studio or a public place. I said because I wanted it. Evan asked if I cared how it looked. I said the only reason it looked wrong was because Evan insisted it was wrong. Logan watched me carefully when I said that. I think he liked how I pushed. At one point, Logan walked closer than he needed to. He pointed at the screen of his camera and showed me a picture. His shoulder brushed mine. It was quick, but it was a line. Evan noticed. Evan asked if we could keep things professional. I said he was embarrassing me. I said he could not act normal for 1 hour. Evan said he was trying to be normal, but this was our home. I said that was the point. Logan asked if we could take one more set of photos near the hallway mirror. I led him there. Evan followed at a distance. As Logan adjusted his camera settings, I heard a soft beep again, like a tiny sound from a device. It was faint. Evan did not react. I looked toward the living room, but nothing looked different. I told myself it was the TV or a phone notification. I did not want to think about it. After an hour, Logan said he should go. He said he would send the photos later. He asked if he could see me again soon, maybe without the camera. I smiled and said we would see. Evan's jaw tightened. Logan walked to the door, and Evan held it open. Logan thanked him like Evan was a co-worker, not a husband. Evan nodded once. When Logan left, the house felt too quiet. Evan asked why Logan talked like he knew me so well. I said Evan was imagining intimacy that was not there. Evan asked why I defended Logan so fast. I said because Evan always attacked first. Evan asked if I understood what I was doing to our marriage. I said our marriage was already damaged because Evan did not make me feel desired. He asked if I was blaming him for my choices. I said he forced me into choices by refusing to change. He asked what change I wanted. I said I wanted freedom. He asked if freedom meant lying. I said he was twisting my words. Mia came back home later and looked at the living room like she expected a mess. She asked who came over. Evan said it was a photographer. Mia asked why Daddy looked sad. I answered before Evan could. I said Daddy was just tired and he worried too much. Mia nodded slowly, like she was trying to believe me. That night, I walked past Evan's desk corner and noticed the folders again. This time, there was a new one, thicker, with a plain label that said bank. Evan caught me looking. He asked what I needed. I said nothing. He nodded and closed his laptop with care, like he did not want the sound to be loud. I went to bed feeling like I had won. Evan slept in the guest room again. I told myself he was punishing me. I told myself he was creating distance to control me. But when I checked my phone under the blanket, Logan had sent another message saying he liked being in my space. My heart jumped, and I hated how easy it was to choose that feeling over everything else. By Monday, I had turned my life into 2 lanes. One lane was the normal one: school runs, work calls, dinner, laundry. The other lane was the secret one: short messages, quick smiles at my phone, a feeling that I was smarter than everyone else. I told myself the secret lane was the real me. Evan did not ask many questions anymore. He still did the same tasks, but he moved like a person who had stepped out of a fight. He made coffee, he cleaned the counter, he read to Mia before bed. He spoke to me in short, careful sentences. That should have made things easier. It made me angry instead. At the office, I started shaping the story on purpose. I did it like I did my work tickets. I picked the right words. I kept it simple. I made sure people could repeat it. Cassidy asked if things were better at home. I said Evan had become intense. She asked what intense meant. I said he watched my moods and questioned my plans. I said he liked to punish me with silence. Cassidy said that sounded like emotional control. I nodded like she found the right name for my pain. Nina overheard and asked if I felt safe. I said safe was not the issue, but I felt judged in my own house. Joel asked if I had tried counseling. I said Evan would never admit he was wrong. That was a lie. Evan had asked to talk calmly more than once, but I could not say that. If Evan looked reasonable, then I looked reckless. I kept texting Logan in small gaps between calls. He asked how my morning was. I said it was heavy. He asked why. I said my husband acted like a guard. He wrote that I deserved someone who trusted me. I read that line 3 times. It felt like a warm blanket. I did not tell him I was the one who broke trust. I did not want the blanket to fall off. That afternoon, my manager, Paula, pinged me and asked if I could step into the hallway for a quick chat. I followed her, and my chest tightened. I pictured Evan at home, doing something quiet and cold, like he always did in my mind when I wanted him to be the villain. Paula asked if I was okay. She said a few co-workers had noticed I seemed stressed. She asked if there was anything at home affecting my work. I looked at her face and saw an opening. I did not say I was cheating. I did not say I was lying. I said Evan had been monitoring me and it made me anxious. Paula asked what I meant by monitoring. I said he checked in too often. I said he questioned my time. I said he acted like he did not trust me. Paula asked if he ever threatened me. I said no, not like that, but he pressured me. Paula asked if I wanted resources, like employee support. I said maybe, because I needed someone to understand what I was dealing with. I liked how serious it sounded. I liked that it put Evan in a box with a label. When I went back to my desk, I felt a rush. I told myself I had protected myself. I told myself Evan forced me to do it. I did not admit that I was building a public wall so I could hide behind it later. That night at home, Evan asked how my day was. I said it was fine. He asked why I sounded cold. I said I was tired. He asked if we could talk after Mia went to bed. I said talking never helped because he only wanted to win. Evan said he did not want to win, he wanted clarity. I said clarity was his excuse to interrogate me. Mia sat on the floor with her crayons. She drew a house with two stick people far apart. She said one person was Mommy and one was Daddy. Evan asked why they were far apart. Mia said they were in different rooms. Evan looked at me for half a second, and I looked away first. Later, while Evan helped Mia brush her teeth, I walked past the living room and noticed his phone on the armrest. The screen lit up with a message thread. I only saw the top line. It said, "Follow up." I did not see who it was with. I did not see details, but my stomach dipped anyway. When Evan came back, I asked who he was talking to. He asked why I cared. I said it was suspicious that he had secret messages now. He said it was about scheduling something personal. I said he was hiding things. He said he was allowed to handle tasks without reporting to me. I acted offended, like he had crossed a line. Inside, I felt a small fear. Evan was changing the rules by not begging me anymore. A few days later, there was a community fundraiser in a local hall. It was for the school, and parents were expected to show up. I told myself it was a good chance to look like a perfect mother. I also told myself it was a good chance to show everyone Evan was the problem. Cassidy came too, even though she did not have kids at the school. She said she wanted to support me. I knew she wanted a scene. I let her come anyway. The hall was crowded and warm. Folding chairs scraped the floor. People held paper cups and smiled too hard. Mia ran to her friends. Evan stayed close to her and kept his eyes on the room. He looked like he belonged there. That irritated me. I spotted Logan near the side tables. He said he was in the area and wanted to see me for a minute. I had not invited him, but I did not tell him to leave. I told myself I could not control who came to a public event. I told myself it was not my fault. Logan waved. I waved back. Evan noticed. He asked who that was. I said it was someone I knew from networking. Evan asked why he was here. I said the world did not revolve around Evan's feelings. Cassidy moved fast. She greeted Logan like he was already part of our group. She asked him if he was the photographer. Logan said yes. Cassidy laughed and said I was building a brand. Evan's face stayed calm, but I saw his eyes narrow just a little. He asked Cassidy not to encourage this. Cassidy asked why he was so serious. She said he should relax. I stepped closer to Logan on purpose. I kept my voice light. Logan asked if I wanted to step outside for air. I said yes. Evan asked if I could stay with Mia, since it was a school event. I said Mia was fine. Evan said Mia needed a parent. I said he was acting like I was irresponsible. Outside, the air was cold. Logan asked if Evan always acted like that. I said yes. I said he liked to control the image. Logan said I deserved to breathe. I nodded like he gave me permission. When we went back inside, Evan was by the snack table with Mia. He handed her a napkin and wiped her hands. He looked like a good father. I hated that picture because it did not match the story I was selling. A parent I barely knew smiled at Evan and said he was always so helpful. Evan nodded politely. I felt my cheeks heat up. I leaned toward the parent and said Evan was helpful, but he could be difficult at home. The parent's smile got tight. I saw curiosity wake up in their eyes, and I fed it. On the drive home, Evan was quiet. Mia hummed softly in the back seat. I watched Evan's hands on the wheel. He did not shake. He did not speed. He did not slam the brakes. He just drove. When we parked, Evan asked if I understood how it looked to bring Logan into our world. I said I did not bring him. He chose to come. Evan asked if I would stop pretending. I said I was not pretending. I was surviving. Evan asked what I wanted. I said I wanted respect. He looked at the street, then at the house, then back at me. He said he would not fight in front of Mia anymore. I said he was quitting because he knew he was wrong. He did not answer. He got out of the car, opened Mia's door, and lifted her backpack like it was the only thing that mattered. That night, after Mia fell asleep, I heard a faint sound from the hallway area. It was like a small click, then a soft beep, then nothing. Evan's footsteps moved toward his desk corner. I stayed in the bedroom and told myself not to care, but my hands felt cold when I picked up my phone. Logan had sent a message that said he liked seeing me in public, like I was not hiding. I stared at the screen and told myself I was still in control. Then I heard Evan close a drawer somewhere, slow and careful, and I realized he was not waiting for my next lie anymore. The week after the fundraiser, I started acting like Evan's calm was proof he had no power. I told myself I had already won. I slept better when I believed that. I woke up early and moved through the house like I was the only adult who mattered. Evan still did the small family tasks, but his face stayed flat. He did not ask me where I was going. He did not ask who I was texting. That should have felt like freedom. It felt like he was taking something away from me. On Thursday, my mother called and asked if we were still coming to dinner with both families. I said yes. She asked if Evan was behaving. I said he had been cold and strange. She said cold men always punish women when women grow. I agreed and said Evan could not stand seeing me shine. At work, Cassidy asked if the dinner would be messy. I said it would be fine because Evan would not dare act upset in front of people. Cassidy laughed and said he sounded weak. I did not correct her. I liked how easy it was for others to join my story. That evening, I chose a dress that looked calm and expensive, even though it was not. Evan saw me getting ready and asked why I was dressed like that for a family meal. I said I wanted to look nice. He asked if nice meant trying to impress someone. I said he was fishing for problems. He asked if Logan would be there. I said he was obsessed and needed to stop. Evan nodded once, like he had heard the same song too many times. We drove to the restaurant with Mia in the back seat. She swung her legs and asked if Grandma Donna would bring dessert. I said yes. Evan asked Mia about school and listened closely. I watched him in the mirror and felt annoyed that he could sound gentle while I felt sharp. The restaurant had a long table in the back. My parents were there first. Donna stood up and hugged me hard, then looked at Evan and gave him a small, cool smile. Rick shook Evan's hand and said hello, like he was trying to keep the night normal. My sister Kelsey arrived next with her phone already out. She said she wanted pictures for memories. Evan's mother Marjorie came with Evan's brother Tyler. Marjorie hugged Mia and asked about her week. Tyler nodded to Evan and said a quiet hello. When we sat, the table felt like a stage. Everyone watched each other, even when they pretended not to. The waiter poured water and smiled. I smiled back like I belonged to the best version of myself. Donna asked how work was. I said it was busy and I had big goals. She asked if Evan supported me. I said he supported me in his own way, but he struggled when I had a life outside the house. Evan looked down at his menu. He did not jump in to defend himself. That silence felt like permission, so I kept going. Kelsey asked why Evan seemed so quiet lately. I said he shut down when he could not control the room. Cassidy was not there, but my words sounded like her. Rick cleared his throat and asked if we could talk about something else. I said I was just being honest. Marjorie asked me if Mia had been sleeping well. I said Mia was fine, but the house had tension because Evan made everything heavy. Evan finally spoke. He said he did not want to discuss our marriage at a family dinner. I turned to him and smiled like he proved my point. I said he always tried to silence me when I spoke the truth. Tyler asked Evan if he was okay. Evan said he was okay. Donna laughed and asked Evan if he even knew how to keep a wife happy. Evan looked at Donna and said he wanted respect. Donna said respect was earned. I jumped in and said respect follows results, and I had results. I said I carried the emotional load, and Evan acted like a manager, not a partner. Evan asked me to stop humiliating him. I said I was not humiliating him, I was describing him. Kelsey laughed and said Evan needed thicker skin. Rick told Kelsey to stop. Kelsey said she was only joking. I watched Evan's face and waited for anger. I wanted him to snap so I could point and say, "See, he is the problem." He did not snap. The food came. Mia ate slowly and looked between the adults. She asked if we were all mad. Evan told her nobody was mad, and he asked her to tell Grandma about her school project. Mia started talking about a poster she made. The table softened for a moment. Then Donna asked Evan if he even noticed Mia's project, or if he was too busy counting bills. I laughed. It was sharp and fast. Evan put his fork down. He asked Donna to stop. Donna asked why he always acted offended. Evan said he did not want to fight. I leaned back and said he did not want to fight because he could not win. Tyler looked at me like he was seeing me clearly for the first time. Marjorie stared at her plate. When dinner ended, people stood up and said polite goodbyes. Kelsey took one last picture of the table and said it was family time. Rick hugged me and whispered that I was going too far. I pulled back and told him he did not understand what it was like living with Evan's cold rules. He sighed and looked away. On the drive home, Evan stayed quiet again. Mia fell asleep in the back seat. The streetlights moved across Evan's face and I could not read him. That scared me, so I turned it into anger. In the driveway, after I helped Mia inside, Evan asked me to talk for 5 minutes. He asked if Logan had been in our home again. I felt a quick panic. Then I made my voice steady. I said no. I said Evan was imagining things again. Evan asked why the Wi-Fi log showed a new device that afternoon. I said technology messes up, and Evan was obsessed with spying. Evan said he was not spying, he was noticing patterns. I said he only noticed what fed his fear. He asked if I understood that I was breaking the trust of the home. I said, the home broke my trust first, because Evan stopped making me feel wanted. Evan asked if that gave me a right to lie. I said he was twisting my words. He asked if I could stop blaming him for my choices. I said he pushed me into choices by refusing to change. Evan walked into the garage and turned on the light. I followed and saw him stand near a shelf with boxes. I heard a low hum, like a shredder running for a short moment, then stopping. The sound was small, but it made my skin prickle. I asked what he was doing. He said he was organizing. I laughed and said he loved organizing more than living. Inside the house, I passed his desk corner and saw a sticky note. It said, "Bring forms." I did not ask what forms. I told myself it was a work thing. I told myself it did not matter. But my stomach stayed tight. Later that night, I heard him open and close a drawer with a careful click. I lay in bed and stared at the ceiling. Evan came to the bedroom door but did not enter. He asked if Mia could keep her normal schedule on Saturday. I said yes, of course, because I was not a monster. He nodded. He stood there for a second longer, like he wanted to say something else. I asked him what his problem was. He said he did not want to argue. I said he was acting like a stranger in his own house. He looked at me without heat. Then he said he would handle it properly. My phone buzzed while I was in the school pickup line, and the screen showed an unknown number. I answered, and a calm voice said my name and asked if I could come downtown today. I said I was busy. The voice said it would only take minutes. I told myself it was work or some mistake. Evan did not look at me when I said it. I arrived at the courthouse lobby with my purse still open and my hair still messy from rushing. A woman in a plain blazer checked my ID and handed me a packet. She said I had been served. I asked what it was. She said it was a family case with temporary orders. I laughed once and said it had to be fake. She said it was filed and effective. I flipped pages and saw words that felt like a different language: exclusive possession of the home, temporary parenting schedule, and limits on moving money. There was a section that said, recording from shared residence common area. My throat went dry. I told myself it was illegal. I told myself he trapped me. But the pages described dates, times, and my own messages in a clean list. Evan walked in, not fast, not slow. He nodded at the staff like he belonged there. He asked if I had everything I needed. I said he was cruel. He said he was doing it properly. I said he was trying to ruin me. He said he was trying to protect Mia and the household. I stormed to the bank branch across the street and tried to transfer money. The teller looked at her screen and said there were restrictions. I asked for my card to work. She said it was temporarily limited. Outside, I called my mother and said Evan stole everything. She asked what I did. I said I only wanted respect. When I got back to my car, I saw Evan buckling Mia into her seat for the first exchange time, calm and lawful, and nobody around us looked at me like I was the victim anymore.